has a series of steps that you have to go through in order to move a franchise. It's a very considered act to move a team. And you have to formally apply, and you have to go through a vetting process, and the owners have to agree that this is good for the business. And so even then, the charge was put forth to Oklahoma City that despite the Hornets having had success for 2 years, despite the fact that the arena was here, despite the fact that the market performed, there was still a series of upgrades that were required for the building to meet NBA standards for the guest experience, for revenue generation for the team, for hosting NBA athletes, and whether it was, the conditions for the athletes themselves, or whether it was all of the resources required to produce the game experience and to distribute the game through media. There's just a lot of infrastructure needs that are required. And so if you remember in 2008, there was a big league city vote that was kind of a mini maps vote, and it passed. And so the citizens have constantly been kind of supporting and encouraging this type of development in our city that leads to the conditions for the Thunder to be here. There have been naysayers and folks with question marks around this brand literally since the day we got here, July 2nd of 2008. The market was too small. It was too collegiate. It didn't have enough corporate density. The list goes on. And yet we have never, ever really let that be an obstacle for us. We've always adopted this attitude that we were going to outwork our competitive set. We were going to be very diligent, be very measured, be very thoughtful about how we were doing our work. There was no hesitation in terms of coming to Oklahoma City and trying this. I think for maybe several reasons. And one would be a general understanding of the market and the region and kind of the values that were here. That was something I felt like I knew something about, and so that wasn't an intimidation or a barrier. But I also think I was far enough in my career path to know that this was a really cool opportunity. A new market, with a new brand, with a new organization, and you could start from scratch. Those opportunities are so rare in this business. And to be able to help make decisions and certainly recommend strategy and policy and procedure based on experiences that we had, to not do certain things that don't necessarily have long-term value. But when you've been doing something for 30 or 40 or 50 years, it's hard to unwind those things. Well, we didn't have to do those here. We also knew to focus on certain things because we felt like it would have great value. Culture is an easy word to just throw out there, and vision's an easy word to throw out there. You can often confuse that with just strategy.
Right.
But I think what we try to do, and I do believe we do it well, and that is that culture is something that you can touch and feel in our organization. We teach to it. We are consistently about process and helping our employees understand why we do what we do. And the more we tell those stories and the more that we share those experiences, I think the more that people understand their opportunity. Every month we have a new orientation day, and every new employee goes through an experience where all of the executives share stories about what do we do, why do we do it, how did we get here. And the point is that when you leave that orientation, you're as empowered as anyone in the organization now to carry it forward. So whether you've been here for 2 weeks or you've been here for 9 years, you are coming from the same foundation. You're going to have days like that, and you're going to have moments like that where something external is going to impact your business. And whether that's a star player leaves, maybe it's a star player that doesn't come back, maybe it's an economic down cycle, maybe there's something that happens that can impact your business. You have to look back at your purpose, and you have to look at your foundation, and you have to stay committed to that, and you have to move ahead and move forward. Yeah, I'm surprised sometimes at how often, best practices come in from a variety of different sources about what we should do, and there's no context for that. And yet I watch teams, and this is not an NBA comment, this is just in general in sports. You watch teams constantly make decisions based on what happened last night or what's happening this month. and you pivot so fast that you've lost your ability to have a backbone and a foundation and something that you stand for. And some brands can overcome that. Some markets can withstand that. Most can't. I don't think we really knew the impact that we would have in so many other ways. Even those of us that had worked in other organizations and other markets, as we were bringing these collective experiences together, we were building a bit of a broader view of what we could do, but nobody really knew in 2008 that the brand would speak to so many other facets of just the state, the confidence in ourselves, the maturation of Oklahoma, the public perception, and what it would do for confidence, what it would do for attracting businesses, what it would do to inspire tourism, what it would do to just elevate the idea of what Oklahoma is. Mm-hmm. That wasn't our goal in 2008. I don't think sports teams really can think that broadly. You're really kind of myopic about your place and your competitive set. But today, we're learning more and more about what an influence we really do have.